Hey, welcome back to the Infamous Podcast. This is Brian.
This is Darryl.
And Darryl, this is episode 500. Could I have said that with any less fanfare?
I was about to say, like, way to be excited, man.
This is episode 500, Darryl.
You're coming out.
Yeah.
You're coming across like Ferris Bueller's teacher.
500. Anyone? DOO podcast episodes. 500.
Voodoo podcast episode 500.
Voodoo economics. That was Ben Stein, by the way, who had remember, like, what was it, Ben Stein's Money? Remember that show where
that
yeah, that was on Comedy Central. This is the best game show. That's my favorite game show of all time.
Never watched that,
maybe
but I know
or Chris Hardwick's At Midnight. I like that one too.
I never watched that
because
one
it was
either.
Stand-up comics and like actors and stuff being like having their stupidity pointed out.
Mm-hmm. Having their stupidity.
It was
pointed
great. It was great. Well, here we are, episode 500. 10 and a half years in the making. I feel like we should have got here a while ago, and we kind of dragged our feet for the last couple of months.
Also, technically, like you mentioned, like you're way over 500 anyway with the bonus episodes and all that.
Those aren't episodes, though. That's bonus material. That's fun stuff. That is not Infamous Podcast proper.
So what are you trying to say? The podcast is not fun stuff?
I mean, it's okay.
Get out of here.
I'm just saying, in the past, the Sisu Road to Revenge car review would have been a bonus episode.
Yeah. But I mean, episode's an episode.
Oh yeah, I know.
So.
But this is actual, like, main continuity, like non-Elseworld 500. So we'll be back next week with the new number one.
The all new, all different.
I was thinking all in with just go with DC's current, like, absolute. So it'll be the Absolute podcast. Ooh, Absolute Infamous.
Absolute episode 1.
And then we're going to have to switch up, like, our gender and race and sexuality and whatnot. So, like, I'll be replaced with an Asian furry. And you'll be replaced with a ginger. Going the other way with it.
Going the opposite way?
Yeah. We're gonna solve gender erasure one podcast co-host at a time.
That's still insane to me.
It is insane.
Like,
absolutely
just like
insane.
Like that collage of characters, comic book characters that were ginger, that were changed to black characters.
Carlo and I were talking about that. We were reading something that the Batman 2 could be just a remake of the Mask of the Phantasm. Which would be stupid. Would you be really, really stupid? Because Matt Reeves is not
great
good enough.
Or animated movie.
Well, one, it's a theatrical release, so put the respect in your mouth that it deserves. And two, Matt Reeves would like just ruin that movie. But Andrea Beaumont, the main character, who is a ginger, would definitely be a black girl. And probably a lesbian, not Bruce's love interest.
I did see, and again, I saw a glimpse of something about ScarJo being involved in it.
Yeah, that's where that stemmed from. So I don't know. I mean, like, ScarJo could play. She could be Vicky Vale.
Vicky Vale.
I mean, but that goes into the whole nostalgia bait thing, which is what the episode's called. So we are actually going to be talking about what's happened in pop culture over the last 10 years. 10 plus years, 500 episodes. Yeah. The rise and fall of Marvel, MCU, the fall and fall of DC movies. Snyderverse versus the gun.
Yeah. Well, you can add to that a once proud studio in Bethesda and some of the stuff they're doing in video games or stuff they're not doing. So yeah, this idea of and again, and as we get into it. It like many things, nostalgia is not inherently bad or good.
Right.
It's a thing, and it's how it's used.
Right.
It's just like a plot device, for example, where someone is, or the plot device where for example, miscommunication. That's one of my pet peeves as far as how you further a plot is miscommunication between characters.
Yeah.
Now, if you fashion that in a way that makes sense and doesn't feel stretched or strained, it's fine because miscommunication happens. All too often, there's a word like when people say lazy, it's actually lazy writing oftentimes.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of lazy writing that happens, not just in pop culture, but like
just in general. Like, and again, we see this mostly in movies, but also lazy writing in TV shows. There's lazy writing in books, a ton of lazy writing in video games. It's everywhere, and a lot of times what we call lazy is just people that don't know what they're doing or just bad writing.
Yeah.
Like Ruin Johnson type stuff.
Oh God. Oh, speaking of like nostalgia greatness, his trilogy got canceled, I guess.
Good.
And he even came out. It's like it's on the shelf for now. It's not being actively worked on. It's like, yeah, because it's not happening. You guys shit can't do suck.
After what he did with The Last Jedi and what he came out and said afterwards.
Are you talking about if he wants 50% of the fans to leave the movie upset?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, you know what? Screw you. Don't come near any of my favorite properties ever again.
Ever again.
You can do your own shit. Like you can do your Knives Out shit. That's fine. And because that's yours and it's not characters that I love. So do whatever you want to do.
And honestly, like I agree with that 100%. Like if you're a director and you want to have that, like do that with your stuff. Don't do that with somebody else's property. Like I think Guy Ritchie's a really good example of that. He's remade like a few things over the years. He did his own King Arthur tale. He had his own his Man from U.N.C.L.E. movie, and like they were all very reverent to the source material.
I love King Arthur more than I probably should, but I love that movie.
It's just awesome.
Bro, man, I love that movie. I wish it had done better so we could have gotten more, but
I mean, it had a great score, had a great soundtrack. The sound in that movie alone is worth like watching the movie with headphones on.
Yeah. Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah, Charlie Hunnam. Littlefinger.
Yeah.
Diamond Hudsu. It's like it's a fantastic. What's his name? Jude Law, great villain.
Yeah, I mean, just listen to those. I mean, that's star power.
Young man came from hunting.
Oh, I love
weary. I mean, that's one of my pump up songs.
Oh man, I love that.
Like I'll listen to that, and then I'll go into like the Pretty Reckless. For I Am Death. I go from that to For I Am Death, or I'll go from that to this rockabilly acoustic, like bluegrass acoustic version of Bombastic. Or the same guy does 99 Problems. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So
that's fun.
But yeah.
So again, getting back to the nostalgia, which we kind of went down nostalgia road a little bit on this.
This is why we're gonna just heads up, we're gonna do this. We're gonna talk about something. One of us is gonna say something triggering to the other one, and then we're gonna go on a tangent for the next hour. So
I know,
just
I know the people listening to this are like, I mean, you all go on tangents anyway. But
wait, isn't it called Tangent Cast? I did joke at one point that we should rename it to Tangent Cast to someone.
Tangent Cast.
Like, yeah. So, but no, okay. So there's a lot of examples of bad nostalgia, right?
Well, before we get on this, this is what I want to ask you. And because again, nostalgia is its own thing. But for you, what does nostalgia mean to you? Not like a property or anything, but the term, what it encompasses, and when you think about that word, what do you think about when you think nostalgia?
It's really funny because like we've been talking about nostalgia for the last couple weeks. And what I think about is it goes back to our live episode at Fretboard where we were talking about the cartoons that made us.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is nostalgia. It's like a comfortable pair of shoes you can slip back on, and they feel great no matter what. And you can just go about your day, right?
So
Like
that
I
is
like throwing on. So like here's a great example: throwing on 2011 Thundercats is great nostalgia for the 1984 to 87 Thundercats or 1986 to 87 Thundercats. Um, it hits all those nostalgia buttons like Lion-O, the Sword of Omens, Sight Beyond Sight. But then it takes and it just kind of it tilted it a little to be good. Um, with like Snarf is no longer the wise caretaker of Lion-O. He's his pet, Snarf. And it just like it changed it enough that it's like, yes, I remember all of this. I remember all these characters. So I'm nostalgic for it, but it's giving me some other feeling. And that to me is like what I think of nostalgia done right. And nostalgia that I want to continue to experience that is outside of fan service.
mm-hmm. So I really like that definition where you said a comfortable pair of shoes because I for me it's very similar. It's like coming from the cold to sit by a fire and you get that glass of hot chocolate with
I almost said hot chocolate.
marshmallows in
I
it.
literally almost said it's like a cup of hot chocolate.
It's that familiar feeling of home, wherever home, whatever home is to you,
Mm-hmm.
like it just feels right. And this is the other thing where I find thinking about nostalgia, oftentimes it reminds me of simpler times. And I think a lot of that has to do with because when and because of the 80s generally, because we're both 80s kids, and so much of our nostalgia, not all of it, don't get me wrong, not all of it, because I was just listening to um Doobie Gray, and I was listening to Billy Ocean this morning, and that was a nostalgia for home too, even though the like, music in the 70s and
Yeah.
60s, because again, it makes me think of home
Yeah, and your
in the
uncle
sense,
was like involved with all that stuff too.
yeah.
So
So yeah, it just makes you feel, it just feels right, that feeling of home, that feeling of warmth, that feeling of comfort. Like again, no matter what else is going on around you, you hear that musical note, you see that character on the screen, you hear that theme song, whatever it may be, or
yeah,
that popular phrase, that line in the movie, and it's just just get that warm feeling inside you, and that's what nostalgia is to me. Like you said, done right. And
yeah,
this can be in, like I said, nostalgia is, and again, we're probably focusing on a lot of on movies, but nostalgia you see, and a couple TV shows, but nostalgia is in cartoons,
mm-hmm.
nostalgia is in fashion, in especially fashion, really.
Dude. Like if
Fashion huge.
somebody gave me a pair of Reebok pumps today, I would be like, so like example, All Elite Wrestling, the Young Bucks put out a signature Reebok pump in the first couple years of AEW. I think it was in year 2, and I tried to buy them, and they sold out before I could buy them.
Oh,
And like, I'm not a sneakerhead. And I'm like, do I go to the secondary market for this?
what were they? What were those
I
prices?
mean, I didn't. I was,
Ah,
I'm sure I wasn't paying $400 or more for a pair of shoes. Um,
okay.
but yeah, no, but I mean, like the Reebok pumps. I mean, come on, that was like the shoe. D Brown pumping up, doing the no look dunk.
Yeah.
That was pure, as the kids say today, pure cinema. Um, but no, I do think like I look at some of this stuff and like comics, for example. There's nostalgia happening right now. Um in comics with the whole DC Absolute, the All In. They're taking these nostalgic characters and giving them a new bent. So I've been reading the Green Lantern one and the Batman one, and I still have the Superman one to check out. I am actually kind of loving the direction the Green Lantern one is going in. It's nostalgic. It's got Hal. It's got John. It's got Kilowog. It's got, these characters that we know. It's got Abin Sur. But it's just a different bent to it. And so it's not fan service. It's not nostalgia. But the comfortability is there because of what it is. Whereas like the New 52. Do you remember the New 52?
Oh, yeah.
The New 52 was just a complete failure because they took all this stuff that was comfortable and safe, right? And then they said, we're rebooting the whole thing, kind of, because we don't want to get rid of all these Batman characters. So Batman's had 6 Robins in 4 years. Dick Grayson went from a 8-year-old to a 20-year-old in 4 years. Green Lantern Corps. The entire War of Light happened because, we can't get rid of we can't get rid of Atrocitus or Larfleeze. We have to keep all of that for nostalgia. And so, that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. This is like these peaks and valleys or these rise and falls of things. I think nothing exemplifies this more than the MCU, though.
Currently, yes. There's 2 levels, I would say. First, the level of that is Disney. Disney as a company.
Disney has been in charge of the MCU since the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
There were 4 movies before the Avengers came out. Well, 5 if you count the Hulk. Iron Man, the Hulk, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man 2.
Right. Yeah.
So all of that happened before, right? Iron Man 2 was before.
That was Iron Man 2 was 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like, that first like phase, whatever, whatever.
Most of phase, like phase 1 or
So
most of that.
That all of that was independent film, like in reality. Mm-hmm. And then, the House of Mouse came in and made the House of Ideas brain dead.
Yeah, and again, why I say I know you're focused like MCU.
Well,
because that's true.
It's the lowest hanging fruit, and I feel like if we get it out of the way, we can talk about the more interesting stuff.
It's just rip off the Band-Aid.
Honestly, yeah. So I mean, like, I think a lot of people look and say, "Oh, Captain Marvel was the downfall of Marvel." No, it was the Avengers, because Disney took control of the franchise.
Yeah.
And we all know how I feel. I do not find the Whedon Avengers to be it's not like something I find like super enjoyable now. And it wasn't something I liked it when it came out, but it's never been in my top 10. Other than when there were only 10 movies. When there were 13 movies, it was still in my top 10.
Well, I'm not going to rewrite history. It was awesome when it happened because we had not seen these characters brought together on the big screen like we did. It was something new. And again, yes, I had issues. I had some issues with it, but again, like with nostalgia, if nostalgia hits right, what it can do is sometimes mask, and this is why they use it.
Yeah,
it can mask the deficiencies of what a movie or game or whatever the property is that's using that nostalgia. It can mask the flaws. And with the Avengers, again, it was so unique, not unique in the sense we hadn't seen it because obviously comic books. I'm talking about on the big screen, all these larger than life characters.
Oh yeah, it was unique because it was sequential storytelling,
right?
Theater.
Yes, in the theater. I mean, we've seen stuff like this, obviously, in animated passion. We've seen it in TV shows.
Oh, we saw it in like Star Wars and things like that, but those were all trilogies. But this was a planned, like, multi-movie, multi-character, intertwining story experience.
Yes, and like what you were talking about with Disney, the cracks were there in the sense of not that it wasn't enjoyable and fun, but going with back with the Joss Whedon thing.
Mm-hmm.
He has a certain way of writing. And as we've mentioned over the last year or so with James Gunn and Superman, it's the same issue where that the Avengers would have been a stronger movie for me if they would have cut out probably 65-70% of the laughs.
Yeah.
Even though there was stuff that made me laugh out loud that I like even to this day. All of that stuff, all of the, because even thinking about it now, thinking about how awesome that, that panning shot was at the, in Act 3, where they all get together and they're facing the Chitauri. I mean, that's nostalgia.
Which was a very
that's one.
Zack Snyder shot, by the way.
Actually, that's funny. I think it was
just less cinematic somehow.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right. Like, it had great moments. Don't get me wrong. Like Tony coming in with Quinjet playing Back in Black,
Yeah.
Or yeah, it was Black and Black. It was AC/DC, whatever it was. Like that was cool. Like that was really cool. And like Steve is there, getting ready to fight Loki on his own, with completely out of his element.
Right.
You're out of your element, Donnie. You're like a small child that walked in the middle of a conversation. When the three of them, the Trinity of Thor and Tony and Cap were on the Quinjet, and the lightning storm starts. That was cool.
Yeah.
Like there are cool moments. Awesome. There are cool moments.
Yeah. You're talking about it like kind of like we talk about Endgame, to be honest.
Oh, I mean, Endgame and the Marvel's Avengers have a lot in common where they did cool spots, but they weren't as deep as like Infinity War or Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I mean,
they were Civil War. I think Civil War was a crazy deep movie for what it is.
Yeah, and that one had some great spots too. But
so that was. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just about to say that one had some great spots, but like if you dig deeper than the spot fest of Civil War, there's a strong story there.
So, I mean, you've got the T'Challa story, you've got Tony and Bucky, all that stuff. But this is the thing, like at first, like Iron Man was just a straight up action movie. It really was. The first Captain America was a war movie.
Mm-hmm.
Thor was an alien movie, if you really look at it.
I mean, Thor was classic, like Shakespearean.
Well, Kenneth Branagh, that's his wheelhouse.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But then Winter Soldier was a spy movie.
Yeah.
Ant-Man was the first kind of like action comedy
with heist, like a heist.
Yeah, and it was a heist more than anything. But yeah.
I mean, just think of that, like in those movies, and then you get the mystical with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Like, just think of all of these just varying plots and these varying types of movies, like in those early years, and what happens as we go on.
I mean, they get rid of the archetypes and they just start feeding, agendas.
Yes, just stamp.
Yeah,
stamp.
It was all of a sudden the Marvel way. Do you remember? Do you remember the back of the comic book? Draw the Marvel way.
Yeah,
like they wanted everybody to have that Andy Kubrick style, which nobody did it better than him. John Romita had a style that was distinct from Jack Kirby. It's what made Spider-Man the John Romita stuff great, and the Jack Kirby stuff great.
You could see it at one panel and say, okay, that's this guy that did this.
But then they took it even further, and now almost all of comics is Tumblr art, and it all just looks the same. Poorly trained artists who are mid.
Yeah,
I'm not a Sith. I'm not going to speak in absolutes, but
that's like when we talk about that, just talking to the audience listening, that's a generalization. We use that a lot, and we know it's not, because there are, just like anything else, there are always exceptions. To things, in the sense of, yes, when we talk about, if we're staying on Marvel, after Endgame, pretty much of Endgame or post Endgame content has been mid to bad. There have been exceptions.
Yeah.
But like if we're talking about as a whole, especially if you include television or the stuff on the plus,
Oh yeah.
it drags it down even more.
Yeah, De Plus was other than those first what 4 or 5 episodes of WandaVision, because
Mm-hmm.
WandaVision fell off. I mean, WandaVision has
Yeah.
had its own rise and fall. I mean, we liked it. We loved the beginning of it. We ended up
Yeah.
liking it at the end, but um, what was it? Hawkeye. Hawkeye was fine. Hawkeye's like
Yeah.
unoffensive, like just it had the opportunity to be great because they had 2 main characters that they could have focused on with Clint and Kate, who had Jeremy Renner and Haley Steinfeld had amazing chemistry with
Yeah.
that mentor mentee thing.
And they did something with her that they didn't do with a lot of these other heroes. They could have made her that boss girl who was good at everything and that surpassed the hero. They purposely, whoever did a really good job of showing, because I get quick example of when they get captured. She is absolutely terrified,
Right.
And he's like, just settle down. We're gonna get out of this, or however he talks about, a lot of these other characters they've done that with, would have had some snark or something to say, and find their way get out and save.
She would just
save
dangled the handcuffs in front of him, like already got out while you were monologuing. Oh, you don't have to mansplain to me, escape.
Yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah, no, you're right, and and to be fair, like what was it? Thor: Dumb and Blunder was the last. Like, I mean, I went to see Fantastic Four, but like Thor: Dumb and Blunder was the one that kind of did me in because I didn't see Shang-Chi, I didn't see the Eternals, I didn't see Captain Marvel 2, I didn't watch Death to Wakanda. I mean, what else is out there? There's been a couple. I didn't see the Ant-Man 3.
Oh God! Like 3 of those 5 movies you said were legit awful.
I feel lucky that I didn't have to see Corey Stoll as MODOK.
That's the opposite of nostalgia. What you did with me just now.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Like
I'm trying to give you PTSD.
I think I quite literally blocked that character out of my mind.
Yeah.
I completely forgot that character was introduced. Like I'm not joking. I completely forgot about that.
I didn't watch the 2nd season of Loki,
which I actually liked because I did not like season 1. I thought season 1 was terrible.
You forced me to watch Virtue Signal and the Neutered Soldier,
dude.
But I mean, and to be fair, I did watch Virtue Signal, Brave New World, and the new Avengers on your Disney Plus account. But like, I'm not spending money in mass to go see that crap in the theater anymore because the nostalgia factor isn't there for me. There's nothing there that reminds me of old Marvel.
No, it's not. And again, that doesn't mean necessarily that new stuff is inherently bad. What happens is when new stuff is being directed or driven by people with agendas, people with middling talent, or people that just don't have and this is like the more sunny side of looking at things, people that just don't have the experience, because you can have the right idea, you can have the right frame of mind and the right concept, but you just don't have the ability yet because you don't have the experience. And we're seeing that there's a combination of that going on with Marvel, and that's why I think they try to dig, go to the well. How they say in wrestling, go to the well once too often, because of they don't know what else. They don't know how to fashion these characters.
Here's the other thing: is I'll take that inexperience over people who hate the IP.
I will absolutely take that inexperience every time.
Like Leslie Headland, like Malcolm, what's his name, who did Captain America, who did Captain Falcon,
whoever did the Dial of Destiny.
Well, that's like the Phoebe Waller-Bridge effect. Like, as I like to call the Phoebe Waller effect.
Which, by the way, she's doing the Tomb Raider show on
I'm aware.
Amazon Prime.
I'm
That's an
aware.
automatic no for
Well,
me.
here's the
That's a
thing.
no for me,
She
sir.
did Fleabag. I don't know if you ever watched Fleabag.
No, you told me about that. You like
Fleabag
that.
is
I think.
perverse and hilarious and dark, and the guy that played Moriarty in Sherlock is the priest that she's trying to seduce for 2 seasons. Enjoyable as hell. It's funny. It's like I said, it's dark, it's perverse, it's fun. Whatever the rest of this shit that she does is literal trash. Like the douche of density, nobody wants to see that. Nobody's interested in that.
No.
But and here's the thing, and I'm gonna kind of close the book on Marvel because I want to talk about other stuff. You had Marvel do what Marvel was supposed to do, and it culminated everything into Infinity War and Endgame. But as well as the Russos did with Infinity War, there was things that Disney could not help themselves with. Mainly the A-Force little hey, let's take everybody out of this moment scene. And right then and there is when Marvel started girl bossing as hard as it could girl boss. And they made this same mistake that Star Wars had already made. They took at the time, the biggest boy brand on the planet and turned it into a girl brand.
Yeah. The Force is female.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about the whole, the girl boss mentality of Marvel at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean, where you were talking about how they did the same.
Yeah, but
with
the Force is female. Yeah.
Well, they started with Star Wars early on before but again, the seeds were there already. Again, and it's something that probably we, caught up in, so much stuff. Yeah. You excuse something here like once or twice, and you're like, okay, whatever, I didn't like that. Yeah. That's fine. And that's what happened. And that's the sinister thing about this is oftentimes by the time you realize just how infected, and I'm going to use that word, infected a property has become, it's already too late. And that's what we got. Because again, when we're going back to Winter Soldier, we're going back to, Civil War leading up to Infinity War, Thor, Ragnarok, you have Doctor Strange, which I liked, Ant-Man, Ant-Man and the Wasp, but overall, that's just it's a strong, and I'm not going to say the phases just because I just don't recall like which ones were in the phases, like how they, but and even Star Wars, like, because you have the Force Awakens, and because
let's just transfer directly into Star Wars. Let's put a pin in Marvel for right now. And
you have
go ahead.
Right. And with the Force Awakens, you have the Force Awakens is a perfect example of what it's like, that combination of fan service but also nostalgia. Mm-hmm. Because let's see what you have in the Force Awakens. You have
just real quick, there's only one thing the Force Awakens needed to change to be great and put the franchise down a really interesting path.
Well,
no, seriously, there's a couple. Just one. No, I really do believe there is one thing that had to change.
What?
Kylo Ren needed to beat her at the end of the movie. Because he had just taken a bolt caster blast to the hip that yeets people 100 feet in the air, and he just shrugged it off, more or less. And he's injured, he's down and everything. But someone that powerful, I don't care who you are, they don't lose to a noob.
Well, he wouldn't have needed to fight her with the saber.
Well, that's the other thing.
Yeah. So I still believe that would have changed a lot.
Yeah.
It would have. But going back to the nostalgia factor, if you compare The Force Awakens with A New Hope, and just the way the movie is, planned out and how events unfold, it is very similar in tone to A New Hope. And I knew this. I noticed. Again, we noticed that when we first watched
it's
it.
like a beat for beat New Hope.
Yeah,
New
yeah,
Hope to Electric Boogaloo.
And and that's fine and all because it does. And again, remember the trailer? Chewie, we're home.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. That is absolutely the episode title right there.
Oh yeah.
With the nostalgia bait. That was absolutely the episode title because that is what that was about. That scene was about.
It failed that nostalgia bait. That bait fell off the hook because we didn't get. I mean, never mind the latter two movies, but in the first movie, we should have gotten a scene with Luke and Han and Leia together. At least one scene. Setting up
the fact that
the story.
We never did.
I'll never forgive Jar Jar Abrams and Rian Johnson for that.
Like, yeah.
You know, Harrison Ford had such a hard on to kill Han Solo. And then obviously Carrie died. So there's nothing they could do about that. But then instead of like killing Princess Leia off and just giving Luke a bigger role, they're like, oh, hold on. Because what we've learned, if anything, is the galaxy does not respond to the princess who cried wolf one too many times. Nobody's going to come help her. It's going to take other people to get that done. Let's just make her the focal point with Rey.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I almost feel like the entire sequel trilogy should have just been focused on the rise and fall of Ben Solo.
That would have been so much more interesting to me.
You could have gotten a younger looking Adam Driver and done flashbacks, like had Kylo Ren running around wreaking havoc on the galaxy. You don't need the First Order. You just need the Knights of Ren.
That would have been fine. Yes. Yeah. Because again, it like going that beat for beat, the First Order is the same thing as the Empire.
Yeah. Because you could be like, oh, these are Sith, and then they'd get really pissed off. They're like, we don't even know how to use the Force. You know, we're not Sith. We're so far beyond Sith. You know, and that would have been able to give the right kind of nostalgia that would make you remember and have that warm cup of that nice warm fire and that cup of hot chocolate of Star Wars.
Yeah. And instead it was that that knockoff where it's like, okay, is this real hot chocolate? Like it's okay.
Did you order this hot chocolate on Temu?
Yeah, is this the like bastardized sugar-free version where it tastes almost like chocolate, but you know that it's not?
It's the Wish version of hot chocolate. It's yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I do. Here's the thing though, is I thought with The Mandalorian, especially the first two seasons, they did recapture a lot of what was special about Star Wars. And then immediately shat all over it with the Book of Boba Fett for 4 of the 6 episodes.
The
two good episodes were Mandalorian season 2.5, basically.
Yeah. There are 2 moments in Disney Star Wars that are peak nostalgia. Luke's arrival in season 2, that episode in Book of Boba. Oh God, no! In the Mandalorian.
Have you watched that cut on YouTube where it's playing the "I Need a Hero" song? That is cinema.
And the other one is Darth Vader's appearance at the end of Rogue One.
Oh yeah, where he's just
and why I call that peak nostalgia is because what it makes you like. Even now, I'm getting chills thinking about both of those scenes. Dude. But you know what makes it so good is because everything before it.
Yes, when you see the X-wing fly through on the CRT monitors in the starship that travels through space at light speed. You don't have LCD. What's happening? No LED screens. No high def. No 4K. What's going on? But you see that, and you're right. It's like. You get all goosebumpy and you're like, wait, who could it be? Who's an active Jedi at this time? Is it Ahsoka? How did Ahsoka get an X-Wing? Like, it was not a foregone conclusion that it was Luke. That was the best part about it. And then it's just this black robed Jedi who you don't see his face, and then you see the lightsaber.
And you see, yeah, oh man,
and
dude,
the belt buckle, and the glove.
Yeah, my arms right now, like,
are you
and then
are you holding your arm to the camera and smacking
no,
it? Pointing?
I'm
Are you pointing at the goose flesh?
Yeah, I'm not that
just like the pebble,
wrapped up on myself.
You're not.
But and then in like I said, in Rogue One, you just see the lightsaber just like light up
in the dark.
Oh my gosh! Again, those two and those work. What makes it more effective than anything else is because of what the moments that led up to it. Right. Rogue One, one of the best Star Wars movies, like bar none.
Number
incredible
3
movie.
or 4 for me. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, right there. And so everything before that, like it's one of those things where it wasn't needed. Well, I guess it was needed to kind of, bridge Rogue One. It helps bridge Rogue One with A New Hope.
Yeah.
But even if that wasn't there, Rogue One would have still been a good movie. Just that scene put it over the top, and the way it
again, like Rogue One was the Star Wars version of the Dirty Dozen.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
Here's a suicide mission. Have fun. Thanks for all the fishes.
Yeah. What is what the guy say in Taken? Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck.
And with
I have a set of skills.
Yeah, and the Mandalorian season 2 was. I love season 2 of Mandalorian.
So good, even with Bill Burr in it, or Bill Burr.
Yeah.
In it.
Well, to be fair, Bill Burr's that was one of my favorite episodes.
Well,
that scene
on the prison ship, or in the when they were
when they're talking about Operation Cinder.
Yeah.
With that captain, I think wasn't it Richard Brake?
Yeah, I do believe.
So speaking of Sisu, Road to Revenge.
Yep. And the cool thing too is like Operation Cinder is such a interesting part of the novels in the new canon with the Chuck Winding books, and then Alphabet Squadron and that kind of stuff. So
yeah, so those are like examples of where nostalgia absolutely can elevate. It's not just yes, it can be a crutch. It can be like you said, nostalgia bait or fan service or member berries if not done correctly. And we see that a lot.
I forgot about member berries. How did I not member berries?
But those are two examples, especially when we're talking about Disney and the way Disney has really tried. And there are other examples, but those are two examples that I will never forget. Because just that's the perfect example of that warm feeling inside where it's just like, man, because again, going back to the original, like there aren't many movies that will get me into it like the original trilogy of Star Wars.
Well, maybe episode 3. But hey, Darryl.
Oh, episode 3. Yes.
Darryl, remember Chewbacca? Remember Chewbacca again? Yeah, I remember. Sorry, I had to do it.
Oh my gosh.
I liked it when they found the big giant old grave and he's like, remember stormtroopers? Not those stormtroopers, the real stormtroopers. And they're all shaking and scared. Yeah, no, I do. I think I do think somehow Disney fumbled the bag of what was the biggest IP pre Harry Potter. I mean, and we're about to experience that with Harry Potter.
Yeah, 1,000%.
I mean, like we've experienced it with Lord of the Rings. Like the Hobbit movies were not good.
No,
the Hobbit movies are a drawn out mess that has like the least amount of soul a movie could possibly have, or a trilogy could possibly have, because it should have been one movie, not 3.
That's all it needed to be.
It could not 2, and certainly not 3. Yeah. And then you've got the Ring of Power.
The Rings of Power.
The whatever.
That
yeah.
trite crap.
And that's trying to key off nostalgia, but in the worst possible ways, because it's telling you that the lore is wrong, and everything you've learned is wrong, and everything that J.R.R. Tolkien stood for was wrong, and this isn't what it's. I love when people what was it? Ariana Grande and the other lady were like,
Cynthia Lord, something.
Yeah, Cynthia Baldy
Vino or
said, "Oh, well, the Wizard of Oz has always been gay." Well, no, the Wizard of Oz. There was nothing gay about the Wizard of Oz. It was that gay men gravitated towards Dorothy. Cool, have an icon like Judy Garland. Loved that. Like that was great, and that was awesome for them, for that community to be like, yeah, this is our girl. We love her. This is our character. But then to turn around and be like, well, he meant it this way. It's like, no. You can't, like, all of these people. Here's the beauty. Like, you know, in 100 years, like with J.K. Rowling's, right? You could be like, yeah, maybe she meant it that way because she came out afterwards and said, well, this is what I meant. But these people who wrote these fantastic works of fiction throughout history have said explicitly what these things were and what they meant by them and what they were trying to tell and what they were trying to get across to society about behavior. And at no point in the 1940s were they like, gay shit. That's what we're going for.
Well,
you know,
again, that goes to something else that we see more about, the narcissism of everything's about me nowadays.
Oh, main character syndrome. Yeah.
Yes. And yeah, but I don't even know if I want to continue with not the Marvel, but with the Disney thing with Indiana Jones.
Well,
but,
I mean, it's just the most egregious of them all. So, and honestly, I can't even really speak to it because I didn't see the Shia LaBeouf Kentucky Jones feature, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And I've certainly not watched the new one.
So, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I went to go see in theaters when it came out. I remember precisely. It was just an afternoon, and I just left the house, and I went to go see it. And I was visiting my parents at the time, and then I just from there I went to the movies to see it, and I probably like 45, 50 minutes in, I almost walked out of the theater. That would have been the first time I ever walked out of a movie.
I've only done it once, and it was Disturbing Behavior with James Marsden and Katie Holmes. But yeah, no,
not Cloverfield.
No, I was too sick. Never got motion sickness once in my life. And then I go see that hunk of shit, and then it's like, is this what vertigo feels like? Oh my god!
That's why you don't like JJ.
Well, that wasn't JJ. That was Drew Goddard. JJ just
that was yeah. I mean, that was JJ.
Drew Goddard was the director.
So, but because you would always say after that.
But I definitely blame JJ because like it should have been the Godzilla for a new generation, like you know, like New Coke is what it turned out to be. Derivative bullshit that nobody liked. I don't know one person who looks at the first Cloverfield movie and says, you know what? That's my favorite monster movie.
Oh, there are people.
There aren't.
I'm sure.
They're just being contrarian.
Well, just like people when Iron Man came out, that was their favorite comic book character.
There's not a single person on the planet, not even the guy who created Iron Man, Stanley, had Iron Man as his favorite character. Stanley's favorite character was obviously Beast from X-Men.
Oh, I was going to say it's obviously Wolverine.
No, he didn't create Wolverine.
I know.
But no, Beast was a supervillain, by the way. So is Tony Stark. So is Reed Richards. Honestly, of all the geniuses, Moon Girl and T'Challa from that Illuminati are the only ones who aren't supervillains.
Well, T'Challa tried to warn them about ruining the Hulk on another planet.
Yep. Of course, T'Challa also runs a ethno state that is super racist and doesn't care about helping humanity or their neighbors for that matter. So there's that to think about. Anyway, no, I do like look at what's been kind of like, let's put a button on all this, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of things that are happening right now that are just lazy, and it's remake after remake after remake. Now, if you want to do a reimagining of something like BSG, like Being Human, like that kind of stuff, I'm here for it. Like I am. Like if you do something cool and interesting and you have a different take, like go back and watch the original Battlestar Galactica. I challenge you to get through the first 3 episodes and say, this is something I want to continue to watch. And then go watch the episode 33 of BSG and tell me that you don't want to keep watching.
I might have to go on that challenge because I used to one of the reasons, okay, again, this is a perfect what you're saying, because one of the reasons I did not originally watch BSG was because of the feelings and the emotions I had of nostalgia for the original Battlestar Galactica, which is a thing. Nostalgia can be blinding.
Yeah.
Because again, you have to take into account when something happened in your life that, what this property was to you at that time. And there are times like everything that's nostalgic to you does not necessarily hold up. I've found that out.
And there's a reason I
a
said
lot
to
of stuff
watch
does.
33 and not the miniseries.
Yeah. Yes.
I've told you that story, right?
Yes.
I don't know if I've told the podcast story. Okay. So when the miniseries of Battlestar Galactica came out, I was boycotting the Sci-Fi Channel because of the cancellation treatment of Farscape and The Invisible Man. And G versus E. Anyway, so I did not watch it. And then it was a random Friday night. I was home. There was nothing on. And I was like, Battlestar, what? Like, I'd completely forgotten about the miniseries, which I did not watch. And so I started watching that because it was 33 and then whatever the next episode. I think they showed both of them the first night. And I was like, this is awesome. This is hooked. I'm hooked. So I watched the whole first season, and then I didn't see the miniseries until I bought the season 1 DVDs, which had the miniseries as part of it. I was like, oh, I guess I should probably watch this because there's some things that happen that I just don't have the background info. And I watched it and I liked it, but only because I had that whole season of like getting to know those characters. And I remember specifically saying, like, if I had watched this first, I never would have watched the series.
Yeah. Yep.
So nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, oh, this Lauren Green Battlestar Galactica is where it's at. Like that and Buck Rogers is the non-Star Wars sci-fi of my youth.
And again, I was like, man, the Cylons, they're people. Like, come on, like they're supposed to be looking like this. And then you finally bore me down, and I ended up watching. I think you let me borrow your DVD season 1 or whatever.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh, all right. And I watched the miniseries first, which I was like, oh, it's fine. And then I watched 33.
Yep.
And I was like, oh.
It doesn't count as a pilot episode because of the miniseries.
Right, the miniseries, but
if it was the pilot
episode.
If it was,
it's one of the best pilot episodes.
The best pilot episode of all time because it's got everything.
But again, the one thing about it is, and I can see where you're saying, it has a distinct advantage over other pilots because there's 3 hours or whatever the miniseries was of content that helps you introduce to the characters.
I don't consider it a pilot.
So but again, going back to the nostalgia, that's why I kind of fought against it, and then I was like, all right, fine, I'll watch it, and I was like, dude, this is so good.
Yeah. All right, I got another nostalgia one to talk about. Dexter.
Okay.
So Dexter came back in the last 4 years with 3 new series. Dexter New Blood, which is highly underrated, and I highly recommend watching it, especially if you hated the way the series ended of the first Dexter. Then you had Dexter Original Sin, which is a crime that it got a second season and then it got that second season taken away. But I understand. And then Dexter Resurrection, which, man, you want to talk about like a show that lost its way, went away for 10 years, and then found its footing all over again with something new, but the same. It's a masterclass in nostalgia bait and nostalgia execution.
Yeah, and again, nostalgia, like the best parts of nostalgia is when, like you just said, that new yet familiar, where you know that emotion that it brings in you, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a one for one. It doesn't have to be that red lightsaber lighting up in the darkness and you knowing it's Vader, or the green lightsaber and you're seeing it's Luke.
Yeah.
But it's also a feeling. Stranger Things, for example, and it's like, why Stranger Things? There's nothing about the characters or the plot line. Even D&D, yes, D&D was big in the 80s, and people still do D&D. Stranger Things is an example of nostalgia of a time period. And for me, for you, again, we just mentioned we're children of the 80s. One of the things about Stranger Things that captured me, it wasn't the characters.
It was the music.
It was everything around them.
It was the Walkmans.
It was, it was everything around them that it does such a great job encompassing kids of the 80s.
And
that's
my problem. That's my problem with that show is like, that's what I wanted to watch. I wanted to watch these kids go on a magical and Goonies-esque adventure.
And
I don't want to watch Winona Ryder crying in the corner smoking cigarettes.
Oh, that was actually my biggest pet peeve of season 1 was her. And I would tell people, look, as a mother, not knowing where her kid is, sure, I get that part. However, I get a lot of stuff that if it would happen in real life, I don't necessarily want to see that over and over and over again, episode after episode. But it's funny you said that, because that was absolutely a pet peeve of mine in season 1.
It's like, I don't want to watch characters eating or going to the bathroom on a show.
So
they don't, right? They don't ever show that. Like, not one time did Kiefer Sutherland's Jack Bauer take a bathroom break in 8 seasons of 24.
That's funny.
So never once was he like, hold on, there's like, I'm pinching a loaf here. Let me get this out. The nuclear bomb's gonna have to wait. But no, like with Dexter, I do think there's a great scene where he comes across, I don't know, have you finished Resurrection?
No, I haven't even watched. I haven't watched Resurrection or New Blood.
I'm not going to spoil Resurrection too much, but there's a point where he comes across his slides, his blood trophies.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, ooh, I remember those. Like, and he remembers those. That's the important thing, is he's nostalgic for them as much as we are. And then something happens and he's like about to leave and he's like, oh, I forgot something. And it's like, because the whole time you're sitting there watching, you're forgetting something really important to you, D. Like, go back and get it. So, but yeah, and it worked really, really well. The way that all of that worked out. And like, does it erase the last 2.5 seasons of Dexter? No, absolutely not. Nothing is gonna erase the bad taste that season 8 left in your mouth, or 6. Was it 6 or 8? I don't remember. Anyway, 8. Yeah, season 8. Yeah, season 5.5. The middle of season 5 through 8 were just, middle of season 6 through 8 were not good. But yeah, it's just one of those things that it's like, yes, this does not make up for it, but this is something new, something interesting, new location, new characters. Same Dexter though. Mm-hmm. New motivation. So, I don't know. I thought it was a great example of how to revisit something without reimagining it and not destroying it. If that makes any sense.
Right. And again, we've been talking about movies. I mean, we see this in TV shows. I mean, there's so many instances of movies that have taken and that take that again, whether they be sequels and again, what was it? I don't know. Was it 10 years ago or whatever? About maybe 15 years ago, we started getting more of the reimaginings of because I think
I mean,
that
it was
was
like
when the reimagined version
2010, 2000,
like
like, yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street came out. I
Yeah.
mean, we've seen
Oh,
it with
oh,
the
all the
Halloween
movies.
movies,
Yeah. Like Halloween's been
Scream.
reimagined. The
Like
Scream ones are actually pretty good because they don't.
they're
It's
not
not a
bad actually.
reimagining because it's a continuation of the story because
Yeah,
Sydney's
but
still part of it.
yeah. So yeah, there. But and again, it straddles that. Like yeah, it's a continuation, but it leans heavily. Again, with a movie like that, obviously you have to lean on the lore. But at the same time, the way it leans on the lore, it's a reminder, from again going back to that nostalgia of early 2000s movies. What or was Scream 99 or 2001?
Scream was like 96,
The
wasn't it?
original. 96. No, it was
Yeah.
96. Yes,
So,
96.
well,
Yeah.
like, did you watch the new I Know What You Did Last Summer?
I did not.
It's got, you know, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr., like all these characters are back. Uh Not all of them because some died. But like it was trash. It was hot garbage. Like at
Mhm.
no point did I sit there and watch it and think I'm entertained. I skipped to the end. I was like, okay, I'm like we know who the killer is, but I'm just gonna skip to the end just to see who survives.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So, but yeah, and like I said in the beginning, this is not something. This is a cultural thing. And what I mean by that is, you look at video games. Like I told you, Brian, before we started recording, Bethesda has, obviously Skyrim, which was a massive success when it came out in 2011, open world game. Yes, it had a ton of bugs, but it was one of those games like Bethesda is known for allowing mods. It's a massive modding community, and that's what keeps the games fresh. But this game came out in 2011. It has been re-released, remastered, whatever you want to call it, 5 times. 5 times. And Fallout 4, which came out in 2015, same thing, 3 times. That's instead of, I don't know, having a sequel.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where nostalgia, like banking on it, not even banking on it, but falling into that and trying to use it instead of it being a natural part of the process or a natural part of where you're going in a movie, a TV show, or a game, whatever it is using it as a crutch. And I think more often than not in these last 10, 12 years, it comes across more as a crutch, which as a crutch, it's like you said, like the title, nostalgia bait, which is also member berries and fan service. Now, fan service is not again like nostalgia. Member berries is more of a negative term in
Yeah.
the sense of how it's used. Fan service and nostalgia aren't. Now, nostalgia bait is more of a negative term because that hints at the fact that it's being used solely for the purpose of the member berry. And going back to Marvel and going back to the MCU, a movie I really liked but really leaned heavily on nostalgia was Spider-Man No Way Home.
Mm-hmm.
And now, granted, a lot it's funny, people that I know that hadn't seen, The Amazing Spider-Man or the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, but it was directed towards people like us who
Who are these people and what
everybody
rock do
doesn't
they
see
live
what we
under?
see. I know everybody doesn't see. I have to remember that sometimes where somebody tells me something and I'm like, are you serious? And I have to step back and it's like, all right, everybody doesn't like isn't in on the news or isn't in on all these movies and stuff. Like I although a different, a quick aside, there is no way in hell that all these reactors are reacting to the first time to some of these movies.
None of them
There's just no
are.
way.
What are you talking about? None
There
of
is
them are.
literally no way. No, there some of them I will, especially older movies. Okay. You're talking about Serpico or The Godfather or whatever. Fine. Okay. But you're telling me that especially I've seen people that say they're comic book fans, and they're react. And again, some people will say, okay, we're reacting to this, haven't seen it in a couple years. Okay, you're fine. I'm good with that. But when you're saying, oh, I'm a comic book fan and I have never seen the Avengers or something like that. I remember seeing somebody that did this a few years back, and I'm like, dude, you are a liar. There's no way as a comic book fan you did not see this movie. And it's been out for 8 years at the time, or whatever it was at the time.
Right.
But yeah, anyway. So
but we digress.
Yes. I digress.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things that yeah, I don't believe any of those streamers are watching anything for the first time. Like the wrestling streamers, maybe. The ones who like post while the pay-per-views are still going on. But anyone who posts it like an hour later, they watched it and then they went back and they were like, how can I be so over the top? Anyway. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, wrestling, we could talk about wrestling for another hour with the nostalgia bait that they do, and the fact that that WWE refuses to push anyone under the age of 40.
Yeah.
Not named Gunther. But he's 36. You know?
Yeah.
The top star in the company is a 48-year-old about to retire next weekend. You know, they've done a horrible job. Here they have a 26-year-old in Braun Breaker, who is probably the most exciting young wrestler to come along since Randy Orton in 2002. And they're like, well, he's gonna have to wait his turn. We have all these old guys who need to get their shine. And it's like,
and you have a decrepit guy who used to be good in the ring that is no longer good as one of the champions.
Guy who's straight edge but looks like a heroin addict. That guy. I have said that how many times?
Yes.
Braun Breaker obviously listens to this podcast. You can't convince me he doesn't. Anyway, but no, it's just like, yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. It's like wrestling right now is just a nostalgia fest. It's who can we bring back? I mean, they brought back Nikki Bella. They brought back AJ Lee, both of which can't wrestle anymore. Both of which have no connection with the fans when they're in the ring actually trying to do the craft of wrestling.
And a perfect example of that is bringing back Matt Cardona as Zack Ryder.
Oh, radio, tell me.
Or Nick Nemeth as Dolph Ziggler. You know?
I'm here to show the world. I'm here to show the world. Come on. Sorry.
Yes, please. But again, as we've mentioned, nostalgia is, again, it's not inherently good or bad. It is. It just is.
It is. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, it just is. And going back to some of the examples we gave, and even, again, there's so many examples that this podcast will be 6 hours long plus if we wanted to go through all of the examples, or not even all, like even half of the examples throughout
6 hour podcast. Let's do it.
Yeah. Throughout the last 10 plus years.
It's 10 o'clock. We've got another 5 hours to go. We can finish just as I'm getting ready to wake up tomorrow morning.
Just as
Anyway. No, but yeah, no, you're right. It isn't good and it isn't bad. It is. And it's how it's used that makes it good or bad. Like look at all like the Magnum PIs, the
MacGyver.
Apparently Richard, what's his name? Richard. It's not Richard Dean. Is it Richard Dean Anderson? That was the original MacGyver?
I think so.
So
yeah,
I saw a video with him. Like he's never talked about MacGyver. And apparently he wasn't happy that he did it or something. I don't know. I need to go back and watch it. But yeah, no, they did. They've taken all these shows. Like imagine if they did 3 Men and a Little Baby right now. Or a Little Lady. No, Little Baby. Yeah, that was the first one. It would be 3 gay dads.
Oh, yes.
100%. It would be it would be 3 gay men who were in a relationship together as a throuple.
Well, remember the show, My Two Dads?
Yeah.
They would definitely be the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But and again, we can't talk about nostalgia without talking about the greatest. I would argue, arguably the greatest example of using nostalgia to further the story in a series in Cobra Kai.
Oh,
Because again, like I said,
honest, Cobra
nostalgia.
Kai saved Karate Kid.
Yes, nostalgia just is, and like you said, Brian, it's how it's used, and it's also when you go back and not even go back when if you look at the creators, you look at the writers of these shows or these movies or these games or whatever it is, this nostalgia that is using nostalgia, you can tell if the people
Oh
behind the
yeah.
camera have love
Yep.
for what they're doing.
Did you
And
watch Legacy or Legends yet? Karate Kid Legends yet?
yeah, I liked it.
Dude,
Yeah.
I thought it handled the nostalgia in the history of Karate Kid very well,
Hmm.
and even added to the story with
Yeah,
the
I
one tree, two branch.
right. I actually was surprised at I like
Dude,
that.
I want to see more movies with stuffed crust.
Yeah.
I want more Karate Kid with stuffed crust. Like he
Crust.
won the 5 boroughs. Let's see him win the tri-state area tournament. Maybe the Upper New England Invitational. Let's go.
Yeah. But
Plus
I
that
don't
had
know how
pacing
many
in it.
times. Yeah, I don't know how many pacing, how many times I've said this to people about
7.
Cobra Kai when I said it doesn't, it shouldn't work,
It shouldn't.
but it does so well.
Do you know why it works?
For me, it's simple. It's that the writers or the create who are like you know their names, I know, but
It works because it was a joke on How I Met Your Mother.
well, I know that,
No,
but
no,
it
no.
works.
But that's why it works because nobody was walking around saying like, "Oh, Billy Zabka is my Karate Kid." It works because Barney Stinson as a character was so well written for a long time on that show. Never mind the last season. He was so well written and so delusional that of course this guy is gonna think, Billy Zabka's character, Johnny Lawrence, is the Karate Kid, the good
Yeah.
guy. And without that, I don't think. Well, I know the show never happens.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
and so
that
people were
that's
primed for that because they got that nostalgia bit. It wasn't even a full bite. It was a nostalgia bit of Cobra Kai, and then I knew their names until you told me that I knew their names. So thank you for
river.
that. But like the 3 guys that made the show loved Karate Kid. And
Hmm.
that's why they were able to take and say, let's focus on Johnny Lawrence as the hero, but not a hero, but still kind of a hero, and
Hmm.
make it work. And William Zadka and Ralph Macchio killed it. They just both killed it.
But again, the most compelling thing is the guys
Yep.
love, like you just said, the love,
Yep.
and you can tell that love. It's like again, overused term, a love letter
Yeah.
to whatever. This is a love letter
Yeah.
to the 80s and to the Karate Kid that delves far deeper than you think. Think about how it delves into how Johnny's life after that,
Uh-huh.
losing that tournament, and after Kreese turned on him, how his life fell apart.
Yep.
And with all the laughs and with all the nostalgia, sometimes that gets lost. That's why that scene with him and Kreese at the
Mm-hmm.
end of season 6 is so powerful
Mm-hmm.
because it was something that for 30 plus years Johnny
Yeah.
needed.
Yeah.
So even when nostalgia, like again, going back to Rogue One or going back to The Mandalorian season 2, like everything that led up to that,
Mm-hmm.
those moments, yes, there's nostalgia surrounding those moments
Mm-hmm.
or in those specific moments, but it's also the care of the story or in the characters that got us to that moment. And with Johnny, yes, there's nostalgia from the beginning of Cobra Kai,
Yeah.
but there's also, like you said, William Zabka killed it
Oh yeah.
because you can see, despite his roughness, there's a pain
Oh
there.
yeah. I think the other thing you need to look at is they got all those kids to buy in.
Yeah,
like
right.
like Zolo and Jacob Bertrand and the Potato
Peyton List
and Peyton List and Robbie and the Potato and Dimitri. Like all those kids just like really, really like bought in on it and loved it. And then look at the caliber of like some of the guest stars that came on board. And the fact that they got like most of the people from the Karate Kid series to come back. But you have William Paul Hauser. I forget, it's Paul Hauser. I forget his middle name.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic, like mainstream, like amazing actor. And he came back and played Stingray and came back multiple times.
He played Mole Man.
You had Dr. Britt Baker show up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she's a star.
And again, going back to
like out on like her nose. Like she's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but like I think I liked her original nose better than her nose job nose. But that's just me.
Yeah. And again, going back to all these characters that from the original Karate Kid, it should not work. It should not work.
It should be
you
stupid
have the girl,
and campy and yeah.
You have the girl that Daniel saved in the hurricane in the Karate Kid 2 coming back as a grown woman, and it's just
who was his wife's cousin.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, it's just the way they tied everything together.
Again, this is another example of one where I was like, again, it wasn't because I didn't want to watch it. I just thought the idea was like, this is not going to work. Oh, it's going to work. It works. This is you again telling me about it, and then it finally shows up on Netflix, and I'm like, Brian's been.
I think there's a theme that's happening with this episode for the last 10 years. Actually, there's a theme that's been happening since 2005. Well, 6 when we met, 2006. Is it 6? 7. Somewhere around there. 2007. We met in 2007. So there's a theme that's been happening for the last 19 years. I'm right. And you should always listen to me because I'm never wrong.
Happy Gilmore 2?
It's a great movie. It's funny. Yeah. It's got the optimal way to have Travis Kelce in a movie. Bad Bunny spreads honey on him and he gets eaten by horribly.
A bear. Best part of the movie.
Hey, you knew who did you see they put out a list of the top 5 hated tight ends in the NFL?
Travis Kelce 1, 2, 5.
So number 5 was Travis Kelce. Number 4 was Taylor Swift's fiance, Travis Kelce. Number 3 was the Kansas City Chiefs tight end, Travis Kelce. Number 2 was Jason Kelce's younger brother, Travis Kelce. and number 1 was Travis Kelce.
That's hilarious.
And like the reasons for each one of them were just great. It's like,
that is hilarious.
I think I sent it to you on Instagram.
Okay. I haven't been on there.
Yeah. Hey, if you guys want to get like the most dark, like dark and silly like memes sent to you, follow Darryl and I on Instagram and start chatting with us. We share good stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even share half the dark stuff with you. You just worry about me.
No, and because I see things I don't share either. So
no. So I don't know.
You trust me.
My buddy Derek and I have got into just sharing like pictures of goth girls. We're in our goth girl phase. Goth girls.
Oh. Okay. Okay, Max.
Right. Yeah. Anyway,
going through a goth.
Yeah, okay. Going through a goth phase, but no. But back to Cobra Kai. It's excuse me. It's this great show, and it's there on no level should it work, and it works because everyone involved with it believed in it, loved it, and did not let it take itself serious. It has serious moments. Don't get me wrong. The main character breaks his back and has to learn how to walk, and then loses to Hawk in the All Valley, but or no, he leaves. He doesn't even lose then. Like Hawk beat Robbie. But it's just one of these shows that like man, there's a lot of like just really nice, fun, interesting character and story and love for the source material. If only The Crow had been that generous with its source material.
So glad I haven't watched that.
I haven't either. I can't. I've started it a couple times because it was on Stars, and I get like 5 minutes and I'm like I feel like I'm disrespecting Brandon Lee in some way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm like that poor man suffered enough.
Yeah, again, that's an example of trying to resurrect, which is a perfect term for The Crow.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't even call that nostalgia,
no.
For the simple fact of, again, I'm only basing this on the trailers I saw. It looks like it's based on The Crow in name only and lost sight of everything else that The Crow was about.
I mean, it's like Ang Lee's Hulk. If you would have made that a purple horned monster, that'd been a fantastic monster movie. But you had to call it the Hulk. It wasn't the
Hulk.
Well,
it's called Hulk.
Yeah, it was Hulk. Hulk smash.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. I think we've been talking for an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, so. This is one of those subjects that you can go on and on about because I have a notebook, like one page just of examples of nostalgia throughout, different genres of movies, games, books, toys, like the Mask toy line that just came out.
Those
and
cars are trash. The vehicles
I'm so glad
are trash.
So I canceled my order when I saw more pictures of it, and I'm like, I do not like how this looks.
Dude, you can get the original toys for relatively cheap. I mean, like $300-$400.
But yes, all I've seen online is the people that have gotten them are like, these are so cheap. But I mean, and you have Transformers, or the line that I've been into since 2020, G.I. Joe Classified. My whole room is littered with G.I. Joe Classifieds. Yes, they've got me with the nostalgia with those.
I'm out of the game.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I've got. And I've actually, the last year and a half, I've gotten like 5 figures or something like that.
So someone will come up to us and be like, what about you? And I'll look at them and go, I'm retired. And they'll be like, what about you? And you'll look at them and go, I'm in my prime. And then you'll spin a little G.I. Joe like action figure on your hand all sarcastically and then holster it. What about you, Lunger? Anyway. God, they're going to remake that at some point, aren't they?
Please, no. They're
going to wait till Kurt Russell's dead.
Well, they haven't remade any of Clint Eastwood's, like, going back for nostalgia for me, like any of his spaghetti westerns or.
Yeah, it's true.
So.
It's true.
Like, or even like stuff like back from like Pale Rider and Outlaw Josie Wales. None of that has been remade. So let's just hope let's just leave it alone. Again, those are things that was like where you say leave well enough alone.
Yeah. If you're going to remake things, like remake some stuff that wasn't good and make it good.
Yes.
So,
but yeah, I mean, I thought this was like just such a.
The Tooth Fairy. That movie could have been really good. A former hockey player who doesn't die but gets turned, like he should have died on the ice and then gotten turned into the Tooth Fairy. That would have made it a much more interesting movie.
I couldn't
add a little
tell
body horror to
it. But I thought this, nostalgia, when you're talking about 500 episodes of 500 a podcast like this, because of so much that has gone on in these 500 plus episodes, so much that has been seen, good, great, and awful. There's a lot of nostalgia littered into these episodes, into these conversations and commentary on movies and TV that. Yes, we've touched on, and you've touched on, Brian. BD. So
there's no BD. There is only Zool. Anyway, no, I mean you're right. and here's the thing. Yes, like you have not been a part of all 500, but like you've still been along for the journey the whole time.
Right.
You really have. I mean, because you used to listen to it, and obviously we've been friends for almost 20 years. God, we're so old. By the way,
speak for yourself.
We're both 48
I'm in my
now.
prime.
Yeah. Dude, I benched 315 on Monday. I was 4 days into 48 years old, and I benched 315 twice. That's
censored.
It's did you like that? Anyway, I had a fear boner from. I'm kidding, I didn't, but I did. But no, I was just trying to be silly.
Pecker checker.
Someone was like, "Oh, it's old man strength." I said, "No, it's retard strength." Anyway, oh, by the way, we got to drive by Tim Wall's house. But people have been driving by Tim Wall's house and yelling out "retard."
Oh, I didn't know.
Like
that.
His daughter made a post about like people need to stop calling my dad a retard. He's the smartest, bravest man I've ever known. And then the very first post was like, "Shut up, retard."
Oh, of course, the internet would do that.
Yeah, dude, you got to run to the comments. Don't walk, run to the comments on the internet. But no, I mean, it has been a lot. I mean, like, from looking at the nostalgia of like comic book characters and like making comics more accessible to people, to me and Johnny like starting to do more and more reviews and like going to comic book conventions. You and I doing live shows. Like the progression of this. Like we used to do interviews a lot. That's kind of gone by the COVID kind of killed that. But that's like something we can do in the next 500 episodes when we get to 1,000 in the next 10 years.
Yeah, I mean. And again, nostalgia is something that's always going to be there. It's always going to be there with something from the past means something to you. And whether it's good or bad, and when I say, because like I said, nostalgia just
How dare you?
Nostalgia right there.
I hit the wrong button.
But it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
The best parts of nostalgia are for me are the parts that remind me of those simple, like I said, the simpler times of home, the simpler times of or how they used to say, the halcyon days of youth, or what have you. And because again, for example, I'm rereading through my Calvin and Hobbes books, and that's like every single strip of that reminds me of that home, reminds me of the simpler times. And you have to be careful, like even with the good nostalgia, because it's easy to get lost in the past.
Right.
You have to move forward, but that doesn't mean you can't look upon past things that gave you joy with that that childlike glee or innocence, because that's what good nostalgia is.
Yeah.
Not necessarily childlike, but it gives you a joy that it's very tough to duplicate, especially when you're growing up with things in your formative years that left an impression, that help build you, that, like you said, the toys that kind of like the toys that made us,
the toys that
and
made
that's
us,
what nostalgia is.
The movies that made us, the TV shows that made us.
Yeah, I mean, you could go to the music that made us,
the New York Giants that made us.
I hate this team.
Did I tell you I started playing Madden again?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm doing a season. I'm 0-2. I've thrown 9 interceptions in 2 games.
Oh man, dude, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, well, I was just playing like fast play, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do a franchise." Yeah, no, they catch on to my 4-play repertoire pretty quick. So the fact that every play I run has a tight end out that I can dump off to the tight end, which is my first option. I just like throwing for like 12 yards at a time. Is there anything that's my nostalgia for the game. So actually, I've learned how to run on the game pretty well. So, oh, by the way, chat, he's fully healed. Scadaboo, he's fully healed.
Oh.
He's put out a video today of him like rolling his foot around and like bending it and moving it. And he's getting his calf back.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if he's gonna. Wonder if he thinks he's gonna play.
Dude,
I don't know. He's insane. I love it. He's my spirit animal. Anyway, all right. So, like, there's some people we definitely have to thank. Obviously, first and foremost, Darryl. I have to thank you. Because it's been so much fun for the last 5 years doing this with you. Johnny, obviously, I have to thank him. He put in the time. It was fun while it was fun. Brian Williams, obviously, have to thank him because without him, like, we never would have started this. We'd still be sitting in Queen City Comics in Pleasant Ridge, talking about comics every third Saturday when we randomly ran into each other. We gotta thank Haley for being our YA correspondent who keeps us from having to review half the shit these publicists send me. Or none of it is the case, maybe, as it turns out. Matt, we got to thank Matt Mitchell for the art and just all the support throughout the years. Go check out Armor Comics on Instagram, or the Matt Mitchell, or the Matt-tastic, sorry. Great artist, great artwork, great friend. God, who else? There's like so many people. The All Things Good Nerdy podcast from the very beginning. They helped me kind of learn how to like do this better and where and how to grow. I want to thank YouTube for teaching me how to do a lot of this. But yeah, the Comixology was our sponsor for a long time before they stopped being a thing thanks to Amazon. That was awesome. That was a great sponsor. That was great. I don't know. There's like Casey, Jay, Kenny, cousin Kenny, our most visited
toy department.
The toy department. They gave us money for our Toys for Tots drive. They gave us toys. They gave us gift certificates to give out to people. Carlo, thanks to Carlo for just letting us pick on him at the live show. But yeah, the frat board for letting us do live shows there. That was cool.
Oh yeah. But, man, 500 episodes.
500 in the books with a bow on it. All right.
That's awesome, man.
Anything you want to add before we go?
No, I just said like this has been like such fun, and these 5 years, not just these 5 years, but just the fact of you doing this from the beginning, and I just hearing this, just hearing us talking about stuff, and a lot of stuff that made it onto the podcast, even the behind the scenes stuff that doesn't always make it on here.
Right.
It's just an awesome thing and just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And looking forward to more fun with this, and expanding out and seeing what other things we can do with this.
Yeah, having to get rid of the Nerd Den Studio and create Nerd Den Studio 2.0 and all the issues that came being surrounded by concrete and metal. That was fun. Facing a window. So over the last 3 years, thank you for being patient with the sound issues we had when I first moved into this apartment. Oh, God. It sounded horrible. It just sounded like we were in a big room and like it was all tinny and echoey.
Yeah.
I have baffling, like the little styrofoam, foam baffling I have all over this place. I have it on the back of a door. I have most of a wall covered. So actually, as I started putting more stuff on the walls, it got better. Not just the baffling, but like hanging up like artwork and stuff. But yeah. All right. Well, Darryl, if you don't have anything else, on that note, we will see you next week. And remember, be infamous. The Infamous Podcast is recorded in Kings Mills, Ohio, just north of Cincinnati. You can find new episodes every Sunday on Apple Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast, our website, or anywhere podcasts are downloaded. This show is hosted by Darryl Jasper and me, Brian Tudor. To find more information about the show, visit us at infamouspodcast.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Infamous Podcast to keep up with the show. We also have a Patreon page, patreon.com/Infamous Podcast. We have some great rewards for our patrons and are looking for help to grow the show to bring you more of the content you want to hear. Music for this podcast is provided by Michael Henry from meetmichaelhenry.com. So, whenever you're listening to us, have a great day, night, evening, weekend, whenever it is, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.